From the UC Health Training Center, welcome to Training Camp Live, powered by Ford. Brought to you by Betfred, Bud Light Seltzer, Ford, and by USAA.
Day 9 at Broncos Camp, and while it feels like we just started, there's only 5 camp practices, official camp practices, remaining with big decisions upcoming. And one of those position groups is going to be the offensive line. So who better than a Super Bowl winning tackle to help us break it all down? Ryan Harris will be joining Steve Atwater down on Hall of Fame Plaza momentarily. But welcome in, Broncos Country, to UC Health Training Center. This is Broncos Training Camp Live, powered by Ford. I'm Matt Boyer. Sidney Jones, Phil Milani, Steve Atwater, and Ryan Harris, the Super Bowl winning tackle, will be along in just a moment. A couple of quick notes to get to about today's practice. Today's practice is scheduled to go 2.5 hours. It's probably going to be just a touch shorter than that because of the increased team periods that we're going to see. The Broncos are not in pads today, but we are expected to see more team periods, so you increase the intensity a little bit, roll back the time just a tad. So that's something to look forward to. Also, 3 weeks from tonight, hard to believe the 2020 season is already upon us. 3 weeks from tonight, that Monday Night Football opener against the Tennessee Titans. So the Broncos are trying to get towards game shape, but they've been hit with a couple of injuries, especially in that rookie class. Yesterday, head coach Vic Fangio saying that Michael Ojamuya is going to be out at least a week with a quad injury. He joins KJ Hamler and Justin Strnad, all battling injuries in the past week. So the Broncos trying to get back to health before week 1. A couple of highlights to get to from yesterday's practice. The DBs, we've been talking about them all camp long. Bryce Callahan, a nice interception to end practice there. It was kind of an up and down practice for the offense. Noah Fant, a nice interception. The tight ends group playing very, very well yesterday. Albert O, the athletic tight end out of Missouri, catching a pass from his former Tiger teammate, Drew Lock. And Cortland Sutton, we've been talking about him all camp long. A nice practice. Sometimes I think we take for granted just how good that relationship has become between Drew Lock and Cortland Sutton. So an up and down battle, defense versus offense, some give and take. Pretty typical for a training camp practice. We've been taking everything that Broncos Country's been giving us also this training camp. We've been hearing from you guys on all of our live streams, so make sure to drop a comment where you guys are watching from. We've also been hearing from our virtual fans, welcoming in players each and every day to training camp practice. Let's listen in to hear what you guys had to say to some of your favorite Broncos.
Let's go Broncos!
Go Broncos!
Terrell Casey and Phillip Lindsay, mainstays on the fan cam. We've also been hearing a lot from Broncos Country about the first-round pick, Jerry Judy. You guys have been demanding we see more of Jerry Judy, and he's actually been getting more first-team reps as camp has moved along. But yesterday in his media session, offensive coordinator Pat Shurmur said it might be dangerous to expect too much of this 2020 rookie class, especially because of the offseason, the abbreviated offseason that they've had to face over the past couple of months.
He's done a good job working against bump and run. He does know how to wiggle himself open. For some of these guys, this is 8 times for us working together, but they've been in the league a few years. This is 8 times working together, and he just got here. So you can imagine the challenge for him. This is a really, really, really tough year for first-year players. You know, it's going to be a real challenge for rookies this year, in my opinion, because they don't have that foundation that you get in a normal year.
In the past 20 years, only 11 rookies have gotten over 1,000 yards receiving. But if anybody's going to buck that trend, it might be the Alabama wideout with a Biletnikoff Award to his name. So hopefully we see big things from Jerry Judy this season. Looks like training camp is about to get underway, so let's introduce our Bronco legend of the day, joining Steve Atwater down on 27 Hall of Fame Plaza. And there you see him. We said it at the top. Ryan Harris, a Super Bowl winning tackle, was a third-round pick for the Broncos in 2007. Spent 4 years here in Denver, then went to Houston and Kansas City before coming back for his most memorable stretch, that 2015 magical run to San Francisco in the Super Bowl 50 title. Ryan Harris is standing by with Steve Atwater. And Steve, I'm not sure which is tougher, going against Von Miller or having to face Peyton Manning in a huddle if you make a mistake. I just know that Ryan Harris has good stories for both.
Yes. Thank you, Matt, for the introduction, and welcome to our guest, Mr. Ryan Harris.
Honored to be here with the Hall of Fame, Mr. Hall of Fame himself, man. Congratulations again.
Thank you. But, hey, Matt made a great point there.
Yeah.
I want to ask that question. What was tougher, going against Von Miller?
Yeah.
Or facing Peyton Manning if you made a mistake? Because, hey, Peyton's pretty demanding back there as a quarterback.
Yeah, and you don't even get back to the huddle, too. That's the thing, Steve. Our first game, we were playing the Baltimore Ravens, and he audibled the play, and so we're changing it, and he said, timeout. He goes, bleep, Ryan, you didn't pass on the play to Owen Daniels. And I turned around and said, how did he know that?
Wow.
And so he'll let you know before you got to the huddle, but that was where we needed to be. And then Vaughn, when I was with the Kansas City Chiefs, it was crazy. I swear he laughed in the middle of a sack. He swiped my hands, ha-ha, and then went off.
No, you heard him.
Heard him. Sacked Alex Smith, and then he came back. Ryan, did you get that to me because we're friends, Ryan? I said, Vaughn, we're not friends right now, man. You better get out of here. So, but I'd have to say, man, protecting against Vaughn, that's tough. But you got to protect Peyton, because if he got injured, I'd never get a dinner reservation in town again.
Good point. I love it. Thanks for coming on with us, man. What are you up to these days?
Yeah, well, I'm on 92.5 FM, Altitude Sports here in Denver, having fun. We're the station of the Nuggets and the Avs, and, of course, talk Broncos. So I just have a lot of fun humanizing and educating the game people love to them. And then also I do Notre Dame football with their radio broadcast, so that's fun to go to all the cities I've been to with none of the stress. And I do a lot of corporate speaking, so, doing things for American Family coming up. I've done things for Google. I speak on mindset, which is what I wrote my best-selling book on, Mindset for Mastery, and then also speak about financial literacy, which is huge for me, and teamwork and leadership. Staying busy, man.
How much time do you sleep?
Man, I sleep enough. As many as my 3 kids let me, man. I get that sleep in,
Very nice, man. What are your thoughts about the Broncos and their prospects for this year?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to catch practice yesterday, and you and I both know practice in pads, in training camp, day 8. I mean, that's where you're going to see. Yeah, you're going to see the cream rise to the top. Jarrell Casey, I thought, was impressive yesterday. The defensive unit is impressive, especially that backfield. A.J. Boye, I thought, is just fantastic. He's so fast. He looks young out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's good to see that Drew Lock's not making any procedural mistakes. This is his first training camp as the starter.
Yeah.
And he didn't have any of those. And what I love as a lineman, he was changing the snap count. Then, of course, Jerry Judy. I mean, it's tough to say he's the best offensive player because we haven't seen him in a game yet. But he might be the best offensive player they got, and that includes Phillip Lindsay, two-time 1,000-yard rusher.
Man, what's up with that?
I know. And Cortland, what I love, Cortland looks like he grew into his body. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It kind of takes receivers a couple of years, and Cortland looks like a man out there.
Yeah, man. It's going to be some fun football. We got a lot of talent out there. Nobody really knows what the season's going to be like, especially knowing that we're still kind of dealing with this coronavirus.
Yeah.
And, how guys are really going to react to it, once the games start.
Yeah. That's the one question I have with Jerry Judy is, he's not been hit by a guy like Steve Atwater yet. And
he's probably been hit.
Not with a guy who's a 5, 6, 8-year vet who says Jerry Judy's getting a lot of conversation. See, you're smiling right now. You know exactly what that thought process is. You're going to try and give it to him early, see if he can hang on to the ball.
Yeah, but, you can't do that nowadays.
Yeah, well, but that intensity, that grown man coming at you, that's a lot different than college and training tables. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think his mindset is right. I think he has a strong mindset that, he's not going to be intimidated by guys. And, that's one of the things in our game, too. We tried to intimidate.
Yeah.
Before the game, we were trying to get in your head.
And if you back down once, we got you.
Oh, yeah.
We got you. And that's the best thing watching Jerry Judy run his routes and catch passes yesterday. Every rookie at some point has to make the decision, I belong here.
Yeah.
And he's made that already. And that's the best news for Broncos Country.
I think he made that decision a long time. He made that decision back when he was in college.
Yeah, probably did.
for watching him. Hey, let me ask a question. When you played against great edge rushers, how did having a tight end on your side like Alberto, Nick Van Ed, the man Noah Fant, how would it feel? Would that give you more comfort having a tight end over there, or, were you just as good
Yeah.
You can handle it without the tight end.
I wanted him out of there because you and I both know that tight end don't want to block or chip. So, some of those routes that the backer's off, the tight end has a chip and release. Well, those guys don't chip. So now I've got so much further to go.
Really?
And then, but, also, too, a lot of teams, I don't know why they did it. I'm glad they're going away from it now. They would kind of bring that tight end behind you in motion. And so at the snap of the ball, he's kind of right there. Well, now you're creating creases unnaturally. So I just preferred to see my guy, see my target, know where the backers were, and it made it a lot cleaner for me.
That's interesting. I would have thought just the opposite. Like, I like the tight end there just to, make sure. But you're right. If he's not blocking.
Oh, man. Them cats, when they got, especially start getting in the red zone, especially don't call tight end in, a blitz pickup route combo because he's going to the route. He's trying to get that pay dirt.
Oh, man. Showing Bradley Chubb there.
Yeah, and I'm impressed, too. Bradley Chubb, that's off of an ACL. You and I both know. That's not an easy injury.
Right.
He's come off and played well, and he was stout in the run yesterday. And what I like, he's letting Vaughn do all the talking, and Vaughn can do that. He's a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP, big money guy. But Bradley Chubb's on a mission. And I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, and I'm hoping. I know everybody out there in Broncos Country is hoping that he doesn't have any setbacks with that. He looks really good though, and I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, he probably benefited the most of this Corona time, so he didn't have to go back to practice and kind of have to, as push that injury a little before it was ready. He got to take his time.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Training Camp Live here, powered by Ford. Remember, guys, you can tweet us at Broncos, at Steve Atwater 27, or at hashtag Broncos Camp. We want to hear from you. Let us know what you think about our guest, Mr. Ryan Harris.
Hey, it's good to be sitting here, though, during training camp.
Yeah.
There's that time every training camp, where you look at the linebacker, you got to block, and sweat's dripping from his face mask. There's, your sweat to your socks. You know that squish sound when you're walking with the sweat?
Yeah,
I'm good, man. I'm retired. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
10 years of that, I'm good.
So being the starting tackle for Peyton Manning, what kind of pressure did that put on you, man? I mean, when you go places, other people say, man, you got to make sure you take care of Peyton Manning.
Yeah. Well, I'm still waiting for his holiday basket every year. I tell him that, hey, man, I'm waiting for, what Super Bowl champion left tackle with you doesn't get a holiday basket,
right.
But the great thing about the Super Bowl 50 team and the unique thing, as we ended up finding out, we had so much expectations on ourselves. And you were on championship team, so you know that.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing that playing with Peyton is going to put more pressure on myself because I wanted to be the greatest tackle in the NFL, period.
Right.
And I wanted to do the little things. I remember, too, Peyton and I would be some of the first out at practice because I'm coming out, you saw earlier in the clip, Alexander Johnson's doing some ladder work. I wanted to move my hips, open them up, practice getting my shoulder down on double teams. And it was always funny to me because we'd have some practice squad guys, rookies, they'd be the last out.
How did that happen?
So that just shows you how much work as a veteran I was putting in. That's how important it was to me, and I was fortunate, my wife, love her to death. Shout out to Jamie Harrison. She would, let me, I'll be, hey, I'm not going to be back until 6 o'clock, but guess what? Now in retirement, we're going to hang out all the time, but I really put that time in, and even jokesters like Malik Jackson, he's a jokester. He was there, 6:45, 7 a.m., and
So who was the one who kind of orchestrated that or led that, got that going? Or you guys just kind of say, we're going to make this commitment?
I think the most underestimated game in the last 10 years of the Broncos football was Super Bowl 48. Mm-hmm. That loss, there was about 20, 30 guys on the team that had the breakout offensive season, got to the Super Bowl, and got beat.
Yeah.
And that left an awful taste in their mouth. And so it wasn't enough to get to the show for those guys.
Yeah.
And for a guy like me, I hadn't won a big bowl game my whole life. We lost 2 BCS games when I was at Notre Dame. I'd won a couple playoff games, but that was in the divisional round, which you and I know as Super Bowl champions, that's nice to get a divisional round win. But I had no conference championships, and I had no Super Bowl championship. So I was willing to do whatever it took to get there, and that included learning how to breathe with an MMA coach in the offseason because Peyton's running those plays so fast. 9 years in, I had to relearn how to breathe. but the expectation was so high and our willingness was so high. And that's something that's a difference between the 53 men that will call themselves champions this year in the NFL and the rest of the 1,500 that don't.
They committed.
Committed, man. And why not?
Yeah, and the thing is, it's crazy because on some teams, I know I was like this for a while, like, I didn't really believe that we would win.
Right.
But I don't know what it was. It seems like when Mike Shanahan came, somehow he instilled that in us that, hey, why not you?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to win it.
Well, and there's always a play, and for me, it was my 6th year in the NFL. I was at the Chiefs, and or 8th year in the NFL. I'm at the Chiefs, and here we go with Alex Smith, and we're in the game, 3rd and 13. It's probably, so I'm like, well, let's go out there. Well, we get it. We get 15 yards. I'm like,
right.
Oh, okay, we
Right.
can do this, you
Right.
know, and that was a great precursor for me because Peyton can convert a 3rd and 13.
Yeah.
So this idea that you're never out of it, and that's one of the things I tell people, and you know this as a champion as well, champions never entertain the thought of losing.
Mm-hmm.
There's no point in the game. We were down 14 points here. We won the Super Bowl at Kansas City in the 4th quarter, and Peyton is as intense and focused and full of belief as he was in the first play of the game.
But where did it start? It started in practice, though, right?
Starts in practice.
And you saw how your guys competed. You know how you
Yep.
competed. You know what was in your heart. You know what was in your guys' heart. And your guys' hearts. And you knew.
Well, and you got to test each other. And that's the one thing, yesterday was day 8 of training camp, so I give a ton of credit to guys. But you and I both know, there was a drill yesterday. They were doing one-on-ones, and Vaughn was the only one talking. Woo! Oh, we got you. Oh, we got you. And I'm sitting there, and no one on the offensive line's talking back. And I don't care if you got to go and fake like you're punching them or something, but, there's just this constant challenge when you're on an elite team. And you have to meet that on both sides. And really, DeMarcus Ware was fantastic in teaching, especially both lines, of like, hey, we're going to compete every drill, every play. And if somebody doesn't, you kick their tail.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because if you're not going to put that focus in, you're going to cause us to lose.
Oh, man.
See?
You gotta love to win and hate to lose.
And you got to love the work. You and I were retired now. We love to go out for individual, and that's the difference, right? A champion would love to go, like people watching right now, you say, well, what are these drills, and these guys are stretching out right now. Well, we would do that, but when that rep is on, you're in the game in your mind. You got to, it's focus. And when you watch even the veterans go through these pregame drills, look at Josie Jewell right there breaking down. I mean, that's the kind of focus you need even in individual drills.
Yeah. All right, you came in your rookie year. What was your rookie year again?
2007, yeah.
Okay.
Had a back surgery right away.
What?
Yeah, so I was in.
You talking about, like, what month did you have?
Like OTAs, like my 3rd OTA practice, my whole leg just seized up and it went down, and they say, yeah, you'll be in surgery tomorrow morning, 6:30.
Oh, wow.
And then, so 2008 was the first year I started, and we had a heck of a year. Played with Jay Cutler, Ryan Clady, I think our offensive line, Casey Wigman, Chris Cooper, who's out here, Ben Hamilton.
Cool.
We gave up 12 sacks on the year, dog.
Wow.
So we were slinging it, and that was a great year too.
Now, so that was technically your first year.
Yeah.
How were the guys treated? Did they treat you like a rookie still, or did they treat you like a second-year player?
Yeah, they didn't know about me. When you get an injured rookie, you don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
You don't know if they're tough, and so I had to just every day in rehab and during the season, believe that I was great still. Hey, I believe I'm going to be here, and that's why I'm so big on mindset. I said I am here because I can play. I am here. I am going to make this team. I am going to start. I can continue to listen and learn aspects to add. I can be positive after a negative play. I will go out every practice and kick someone's tail and let the rest of it take care of itself. So it was amazing, though, to come to an organization where a championship is the expectation.
Yeah.
I played for some organizations that's not there.
Right.
And it's totally different. Literally from the food, lighting, locker room, everything is different. And so I was just immediately coming from Notre Dame, where there's a high expectation, to coming to the Broncos, where a championship is the goal.
Yeah.
That was fantastic for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I hate some guys don't get a chance to experience that. And then, some guys sometimes when they're here in this situation, they think in their minds that every place is like this. It's not.
It's not the same. I say
it's not like that everywhere.
no. I got hit 5 times super hard in the NFL, and about 2 of them were in that Super Bowl game. You know what I mean? That the talent goes up. So, but yeah, we came in here, got drafted here, and then McDaniels came in. We had a little success. I had to have a toe surgery. I had 9 surgeries in 10 years. You know, so. Then after when Fox came here, I was a little arrogant, had a nice little house in the cul-de-sac at Highlands Ranch, you know what I'm saying? And so I was arrogant and unwilling, and so I got fired and went to Houston where Gary Kubiak was and really learned how to work. Fell in love with the craft, fell in love with staying at the facility, tried to know everything about my opponent, really dug in. And because of that, you know, then I went to Kansas City and then came back here with Gary. And I always wonder if I didn't work that hard in Houston, if I'd be a Super Bowl champion. You know, you never know how that works out.
So, we'll segue into this. With some players, when they lead a game, probably everybody has a couple of them. Do you have any regrets from your playing days? Or was that a regret that you didn't play harder earlier or work harder earlier?
Yeah, you know, I didn't know I could work that hard.
That's crazy.
You know, and that's the biggest thing that I'm such a proponent of sports, even for my kids. You know, we have them in jiu-jitsu, you know, because I want them to know, and you've got those moments where you said, man, I'm done. And you keep going, and you keep going. And whether that's in training camp, I wanted to quit every training camp. That's how I knew I was having a good camp.
Oh, boy.
If I wanted to quit, if I was done with football, then that was good. But I just, you know, I regret, you know, the only regret I have is not making wiser financial decisions earlier on.
Yeah.
You know, the pressure to give money to family. And I tell people, you give money to people, they just blow it. You know, they don't know how to do it. You know, I've gotten into real estate, got into it last part of my career and investing. And I was investing since my rookie year, but I should have invested more, you know. But I'm fortunate. I'm very fortunate, Steve, to have played for the coaches I played for, but also to have had that belief in myself. And I don't know where that came from, but it's my goal in retirement to encourage others to find that within themselves. Because whether you're an accountant in sales or, you know, in school, you have another level you can operate at. And I want people to be encouraged to that place because too often we don't go there because of an obstacle that we think prevents us.
Right. These imaginary things that hold us back.
Yeah.
Everyone out there with the Facebook account, let us know you're out there. Go to our Facebook poll, stat, immediately, right now, without delay. Select the player that you want us to focus on. It's going to be 5 or 10 minutes or so, a little later in the program. And we're going to announce the player that receives the most votes a little bit later. And the players on today's poll are number 1, Dalton Reisner.
Yeah.
Number 66.
Well, and
second year starting left guard from Wiggins, Colorado. Second, Mr. Phillip Lindsay, number 30, third-year running back out of Denver, Colorado. Everybody knows Phillip Lindsay. Third, Albert Okwuegbunam.
Yeah.
Just say Alberto. Don't try to do that.
Okwuegbunam.
I practice.
Yeah,
that.
I know.
I got to have a little reminder here.
It's a silent G. Ain't nobody heard of a silent G before.
Okwuegbunam. He's a rookie, 4th-round draft pick out of Missouri who's been lighting it up out here in camp.
I'm surprised by him. I mean,
I'm not.
That tight end position's tough to learn now. I mean, you're part lineman, part receiver.
Good point. Good
and
point
he's
there.
He's been in there, man. He's been making plays.
Yeah, he and Drew Lock, they had that connection in college.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I was watching Drew Lock film last year before we 2 years ago before we drafted him, and he was throwing the ball to Alberto. And I was like, oh, man, Alberto's going to be a first rounder.
Well, you and I both know that tight end position, it's not about blazing speed. It's about a rapport with your quarterback, Tony Romo, right? Him and Jason Witten. You got Tom Brady and Gronkowski. You got Peyton Manning and, Owen Daniels, and you got John Elway and Shannon Sharp. That relationship component is probably more important for a tight end than any other position on the field.
Yeah, no, you're right. How important is it that tight ends be able to block, though?
It is. It's part of the game.
You said tight ends, they don't block much, but
it's part of the game, And I watched Andrew Beck yesterday, and I loved him getting physical in that fullback position. Because at the end of the day, you want your tight end to be an extra player who's willing to do whatever it takes, whatever play to be successful. I mean, it's ultimately an unselfish position, the tight end, as you're often the third or even fourth look, or unless there's a blitz, you're the hot read. So it's a very special kind of guy that can thrive in that role and produce. And I'm just looking forward to seeing if Noah Fant can do that this year, because I thought we saw him become a man in that Browns game last year. He had a 60-yard touchdown catch where he was not being stopped.
Right. They
and
tried to go low. They tried to hit him in his thighs.
And he was going.
Yeah, bounce.
And people forget, too, I mean, Noah Fant, more receiving yards than Rob Gronkowski his rookie year. So, I mean, this is a cat who can play. Yeah. And he had 3 different quarterbacks last year.
Well, there are some people out there that say, if Noah Fant can catch 700-800 yards, you have 700-800 yards in receiving, can have 8, 9, 10 touchdowns, to heck with blocking.
Yeah, well, if you do that, they're always going to rush him. You know what I mean? Or they're going to blitz on him to make sure he can't do that, right? If this is, and those guys don't really exist. And look at what's happened to Jimmy Graham. You know, he's a guy who, when he was at Seattle, was kind of playing in that position. Since he left, he hasn't been able to get open, and have that same production. So that day, it's interesting to me how the game will advance in some places and then come back in others. You've got to block, because at the end of the day, that tight end position, you've got to be tough.
Oh, I agree.
You're getting hit by a Steve Atwater, and if Steve stands you up, I'm running down the line to hit him from the back to get him over to first down, and then there's a linebacker coming. So you've got to be a tough son of a gun, and you've got to be an unselfish player as well.
Yeah. With all the injuries that teams are having, we had some injuries. Justin Stranad, the rookie, hurt his wrist.
Yeah.
Michael Ojamuya, his quad. McTelvin Ajum yesterday. I know he was thrown to the ground.
Hey, I saw that play. That was fair. Now you're gonna jump up in the air during the game. What's gonna happen? You're going down, man. I'm gonna pull you down. I'm gonna hit you in your legs. So I know that coach doesn't want to see that. But one of the things, Steve, I do not understand. My entire career, even in college, 17 years of football, 15 of those I was doing yoga. I do not understand why these young cats aren't doing yoga. I don't understand. Even at the Chiefs, they had someone come in on Tuesdays for yoga.
Yeah.
You have got to be stretching and learning balance and breathing. And I really think that the teams that commit to stretching and focus and balance, those are the teams where you can really reduce those injuries. And, I haven't heard yet or not, but I haven't heard anybody talking about yoga, so that lets me know they ain't doing it. Because everybody's done yoga.
They probably talk about it.
They probably talk about it.
And I didn't get into yoga. There was a guy named Danny that used to do
Yoga Danny.
Yeah. But I never really got into it. Actually, he came to my house. We did it a few times, but I wasn't consistent with it. But the thing I was consistent with was every day I stretched.
Yes.
Every day at night before I went to sleep, I stretched.
Or after a practice.
Well, I did after practice and all that anyway, but, in practice and all that. But at home, I made sure every night I got my stretching in. Even to this day, I stretch out quite regularly and keep that Achilles loose.
Yeah.
Got to do that board, that incline board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That incline board is big. Yeah, that thing is huge. But those are the kinds of things, even as a rookie and second-year player, it took me about 3 years to figure out to take care of my body.
Yeah.
How to put the system together, time it all right. But I would see John Lynch sitting on that decline board, up against the wall 30 minutes before practice. And I'm like, what is he doing just standing there? Well, he's getting loose, you know. And one of the things I would tell younger players, even in training camp, I said, don't get in the ice bath for today. Get in the ice bath for week 5, week 6, week 12. I mean, it's week 27 when you hold that Lombardi Trophy in your hands. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And you've got to make sure your muscles are stretched and able to absorb nutrients and be twisted, as you will get twisted up out here on the field.
Now, offensive linemen have all types of injuries. Which ones are the worst? Which injury do offensive linemen not want to have? I know you don't want to have any.
Yeah, anything to the wrist is detrimental, right? Because that's
more so than the knees.
More so than the knees. I was fortunate. I only had, towards the end of my career, just some cartilage issues with my knee. But, I mean, I've had 4 back surgeries, and so to be able to still play at a high level and win a Super Bowl, man, I didn't think that was going to happen.
Wow.
But I was still able to. And also playing offensive line, I tell people all the time, it's a lot like being a pitcher in the Major League Baseball. You're on an island. You've got to use the count. You know, if it's a 3-step drop, I'm coming at you. You know what I mean? You're going to think it's a run play because I got time. If I miss and the ball's not gone, that's on the quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
But so many times, you know, I can't give you the same pitch. I can't just set back the same because a guy like Terrell Suggs or a guy like James Harrison would time you up, and you know the greats ain't going to show it to you in the second quarter.
Right.
They're going to wait.
Once you get a little tired, yeah.
Third quarter, okay, is it a close game? Fourth quarter, well, here it comes. So part of it was learning how to mix up my sets, learning how to, on a pass play, make calls like it's a run to make the safety come down a little bit more and think that they're coming, and that'll get them a little more, the D-line a little more stout, and then, oh, well, by the way, it's a pass, you know? So those are the kind of intricate veteran things that I was able to do that really could confuse guys, and I just played the count, you know?
Right. Hey, well said, well said. Hey, we're going to throw it over to Phil Milani. He's with the defensive backs coach, Ronaldo Hill. Phil, what you got, my friend?
Steve, thank you very much. Ronaldo, fans have been really eager to see Bryce Callahan out there. They've had to wait a year. How's he looked as he works his way back from that foot injury?
He's been looking great. From the way he's playing, you wouldn't think he had an injury. He's been after it. You can see his fast, quick twitch movements out there. It looked like old Bryce was back.
We saw him have that interception to wrap up practice yesterday. The big move this offseason, though, bringing in A.J. Boye. How's he look to you?
He's been doing great. He fits right into our room. Easygoing guy, just loves to work. He's asking great questions in the meeting rooms, and the guy's got a good vibe about him, and I like the group we have right now.
Yesterday we heard from defensive coordinator Ed Donatel. He said that third cornerback position is still too close to call. What do you want to see there before you guys are ready to make a decision?
I think the biggest thing is just trying to find a guy who's consistent in that position. And if we can get more than one, that's always great. But those guys they're coming to work every day. They're doing the things in meetings that we need to see, and they're doing the things on the field as well. So it's a good competition that's going, and I'm excited because I think not only if we're looking for a third, we're going to get something that blossoms even a little bit more out of that group.
And rookie Michael Ojamuya, he's going to miss a little bit of time here. How can he stay active and make sure that he doesn't fall behind?
I think the biggest thing is staying next close to the vets, asking good questions, seeing what they're looking at on the field. Definitely staying close to AJ and Bryce as well, and seeing how they can pick up some tidbits of maybe what the receivers are doing, and just stay active in that action. Just asking questions, being close to those guys, and hopefully it won't be a huge drop-off when he does come back.
Ronaldo, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Let's send things over to Sydney Jones.
Thanks for that, Phil. Now, Broncos Country, if you're just now tuning in, we are doing social media giveaways on our live show every single day, and now it's time to announce the winner of yesterday's prize, which was a signed football by the one and only Steve Atwater and his guest, David Bruton. Now, the winner of that prize is Justin Baldwin. Congratulations, Justin. Now, Broncos fans, if you haven't won a prize yet, don't worry, because like I said, we're giving one away every single day, and today's prize is another signed football, this time by Steve Atwater and his guest on today's show, Ryan Harris. Now, if you want to be selected for this prize, you must be following the Broncos on Twitter, and then you must go and retweet the post about this prize. We'll be announcing the winner on tomorrow's show, so make sure to tune in again. Now, Broncos fans, if you want to be featured on our live show, you can do so by tweeting at us using the hashtag Broncos Camp. We'll be featuring those tweets throughout the rest of camp and on our live show, so make sure to look out for that. Now, yesterday we were able to wire up another player for the day at camp. Yesterday it was Noah Fant. We followed him around for the day, so check it out.
Ooh. I got ball. Hey, boom, off. You got the coin. Yeah. I'm taking it. Did it. Ooh. More hydration. Go right. Garrett, where you at? Yep. Doing good, Coach. Yeah, I gotta try to dig in there.
We'll be continuing to do those wired up sessions throughout the rest of camp. So if you like that and want to see more of them, you can find them on denverbroncos.com and our social media channels. We're also continuing our Camp Confessional series today. We had the opportunity of catching up with Kareem Jackson, the loudest guy on the field, it seems like, this camp. Take a listen.
Hi, I'm Kareem Jackson. Welcome to Broncos Camp Confessional.
Oh, we got it! We got it! We got it! Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, occasionally AJ.
For me, it's just all about having fun. I definitely try to give off energy to the guys, both sides of the ball. I try to bring it every day, and for me, it's all about just going out and competing at a high level. And I'm gonna do a little bit of trash talking while I work.
Young boy ain't got no feet work. Jack!
Man, that dude, just playing. It's year 2 of me and him being together. Just for us, it's just about expanding, the mental aspect of our game. Just kind of knowing the defense inside and out. Putting guys in better situations when we can, and taking some risks ourselves. I'm Kareem Jackson. Thanks for watching my Broncos Camp Confessional.
We've been doing those camp confessionals every single day throughout camp. So if you missed any of those and want to check them out, you can also find them on our website and social media channels. Now, as youth football leagues in the Denver community start to prepare for their seasons, Miles has been going around to all these different youth camps and giving out return to play packs that include football equipment and health and safety supplies. Miles and the Broncos director of youth and high school football, Bobby Mestis, visited several over the last week, ranging from rookie participants up to 6th graders. You love to see that. All right, Broncos fans, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, you'll be joined here again by Steve Atwater and Ryan Harris.
Training Camp Live, powered by Ford, is brought to you by BetMGM, Bud Light, UC Health, and by U.S. Bank.
All right, welcome back to Training Camp Live, powered by Ford. My special guest, Mr. Ryan Harris.
What's up, man? So good to be here with you, Steve.
Oh, man, it's my pleasure. Yes. Hey, the fans have spoken. They told us the player that they want the cameras to follow for 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Who did you think it was?
Hey, you're talking about the man who is the all-time, all-purpose leader at CU. You're talking about the man that was in the Broncos youth program. You're talking about the man that with 6 different quarterbacks ran for 1,000 yards each season for 2 seasons, and you're talking about the man who is Pro Bowl going, Phillip Lindsay.
You're right.
Look at the hair, too. I mean, come on, dog.
How could you not pick Phillip Lindsay?
How could you not pick
in Denver?
In Denver. He's Mr. Denver. He's Mr. Colorado. He's the governor in 2040, Phillip Lindsay. I mean, come on.
Oh, man, you can see him right there. He's on the sidelines. We'll get some more of him once he's running around on the field as well. But we gotta Give a shout out to Mr. Phillip Lindsay in a battle for that start position with Melvin Gordon.
Yeah. You know, it's amazing because I know Melvin's had some production too, but it's amazing to me how often Phillip Lindsay has to prove himself, which you and I know every year in the NFL you got to do it anyways.
Yeah.
And the best thing about Phillip Lindsay is he hasn't taken it personal. Yeah. I mean, he came out, was that a week ago, and said, hey, listen, you know, whoever they start, that's on them. All I can do is focus on when I get in there having explosive plays. That's the mindset to succeed.
That's right, and that's really the only thing he can focus on.
That's
he
all
can't
you can do.
Anything else.
That's all you can do. So not only is he extremely talented, he's hyper-focused. And you and I both know what happens when extremely talented players are hyper-focused.
Yes.
And that's what we've seen the last 2 years from Phillip Lindsay.
Yeah. He got a new baby boy at the house. He's happy. He's a proud dad. Congratulations.
And that changes everything, man.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden you're not the most important person in your life. And I remember when we had my son and I was in Houston, it makes everything far more valuable. So if I'm going to spend time away from my son, you're going to pay the price for it, you know, in practice.
Right.
And so there's all kinds of ways in which growing up makes you a better football player in the NFL.
All right, I want to talk about a topic that you should know a lot about, the offensive tackle position.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody to think I'm talking about Garrett Bowles here.
Right.
But how can offensive tackles stop holding if they hold?
Well, I'll tell you something. You know, it's a choice. And what's tough is you know when you're holding, right? I mean, you know. Now, you knew when you were holding?
I'm not saying I ever held.
Because
you held.
Hey, the year we won the Super Bowl, I had zero holding penalties, just like you all interfered. You guys interfere on every pass. Exactly.
I'm not buying that,
Yeah. Okay. Well, you tell me. Did you know when you were tugging the back of a shoulder pads and the ref couldn't see it? Then you're smiling right now. You can't even lie, can you?
Every now and then.
Yeah. So I mean, one of the things you have to understand is what holding is, and as long as you're in that breastplate, you're attacking, right? And so, you know, and you can do things like I would tug down and wipe my hand away and bring it up. So all of a sudden now you don't know if he slipped or if I pulled him down. So you've got to figure out a way, but it really is with technique. And what it is, it's trusting yourself. It's trusting that when I cover up and get vertical on a guy like Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, that I'm going to be in the right position, because if he stays on my edge, the running back's going to come right on my inside shoulder. And when he tries to come back, well, that's where I'm right there for him, driving him another 3 yards. Now we got a 6-yard gain. So there's a trust factor that really goes into it. But one of the things I did the year we won the Super Bowl that I'm going to suggest to Garrett when we get the chance to talk to him, before games, I'll go to the refs. Hey, ref, man, I'm thinking about becoming a ref when I'm done. You like it? Is it pretty good? Every single one of them. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Harris, you'll love it. And they're looking for new players. I'll get you my number after the game. Great, ref. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And so now they think I'm a rules guy. You know what I'm saying?
And you didn't really want to ref?
Zero. Heck no. Zero holding calls in the 2015 season, man. You got to use honey. You got to use honey, man.
Hold up. So every game you did that, you went to the ref?
Pretty much every game, yeah, except for the games when we played the Patriots, because every game I played against the Patriots, Bill Belichick would have the ref come up to me and say, Mr. Belichick, wants to make sure you're up on the line. So finally, I'm 9 years in. I said, hey, ref, man, Bill Belichick's trying to mess with you.
Right.
He says this to me every game. I don't want you to get fooled by Bill Belichick.
Oh,
I haven't got an illegal procedure penalty all season, so he's just trying to mess with you. I wouldn't let him do that, ref. You gotta play the game you're in. But one of the things you have to do is trust your technique. And there's no excuse now for a player like Garrett Bowles, for even Elijah Wilkinson.
Right.
You're in the NFL now. You've played in games. You understand how detrimental those penalties can be. You've got to be. You got to work with your hands.
When you against guys like Von Miller, though, I mean, if he beats you, you just got to let him get the sack, or
well,
you don't want to get your quarterback killed.
You can't get beat. Can't get beat. Can you get beat deep when you got man cut, when you got single high safety? Can you get beat deep?
No,
you can't do it.
But if you do. What do you? That's when the problem comes in, when you get beat.
You got a choice to make, But
did you grab him?
I would. I don't know. I was never in those bad positions because I always was great with my feet, and that's one of the things why I would open up my hips before every game, and the economy of steps has to be there. Yeah. And so I would practice. I even had a little hand-eye coordination game on my iPad that I would play before games. Just you had to like hit these little spaceships that were moving, you know.
And that was a video game.
You know, but you just gotta, yeah, right. You gotta you have to do everything. Yeah. And I don't know that Garrett Bowles and other tackles do everything. And when you have an issue like that, you got to start saying, well, what can I do?
Right.
I have an issue with my hand-eye coordination. I have an issue with my footwork. I have an issue with my mentality. You and I both have had moments in games where we were tired, we embarrassed ourselves, and we said, you know what, everybody's tired. Being tired is a choice. I'm not going to make that again.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that players have to do to be successful at tackle in the NFL.
All right, look, I was looking through the Iron Man list. These are guys who have played consecutive regular season games. Mitchell Schwartz from the Kansas City Chiefs has played in 128 consecutive games.
And you and I both know he wasn't healthy for all of those.
Yeah, he wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
But he played.
No player that you're watching right now, Broncos fans, is healthy. Not one of them. Not a single player right now. Royce Freeman, Phillip Lindsay, they're not healthy right now. They could play.
So what's the difference? How are some guys able to just overcome whatever adversity there is and be available for the team?
You know, a lot of it's luck. You and I know that, right? It's luck, you know, in terms of sometimes, you know, I was with a player who he stepped wrong in a preseason game covering a cross blitz, and he had a bone bruise on his kneecap that ended his career.
Oh, wow.
You know, and it's just like, how do you not step wrong in a game picking up a blitz? You know, I think a lot of it is just health and maintenance.
Was he doing yoga?
He was not doing yoga. He did not do the yoga. I'm telling you, people ask me all the time, Ryan, what's the key to beating the NFL? I say, you better pray and do yoga. And they're like, yoga? But a lot of it's luck, but a lot of it, you know, too. You and I both had guys that constantly were working on their body.
Yeah.
Practice was only a portion of the day.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that practice wasn't the most important part of the day, but there was another schedule when practice ended. And I don't know that every player does that.
You know, Romo was a guy, Bill Romanowski, he was a guy that was like that. I mean, he would take 1,000 supplements, but he'd be in there getting massage therapy.
Cold tub, hot tub.
Oh, man, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And I did massage therapy, cold tub, a lot of that stuff as well, but he was on another level.
Yeah. So I think that's part of it. And I also think that, you know, and you only hear this in the NFL, and I heard this in college. Charlie Weiss said it. He said it to a player. He said, well, are you hurt or are you injured?
Right.
And I was like, I never knew there was a difference. I don't know what the difference is, you know. And that's a mentality. And there are a lot of guys. I mean, Mike Munchak, offensive line coach, he played 12 years in the NFL without a meniscus in his knee.
Wow.
But he was hurt every game.
Wow.
But he wasn't injured, you know. And different guys' bodies, it's just different, you know. Hines Ward didn't have an ACL in one of his knees. He could still play. You know, so yeah.
Yes.
Joe Thomas had that Iron Man streak too. You know, he ended up getting an elbow injury kind of towards the end of his career, but now Joe Thomas also wasn't playing in the playoffs. So you know what I mean? Yeah, he was a 16-game season. That was it. That was it. You know, so it's different, man. And you know, I'll never be the same physically after that Super Bowl season. And it made me winning the Super Bowl made me have so much respect for guys like you, what Tom Brady was able to do it multiple times, to do it back to back.
Right.
I mean, there's still celebrations going on with this Super Bowl 50 team. And to be able to lock it in for another year and go get it, I mean, that was one of the things I took pride in, because after leaving here, after winning the Super Bowl, I went to the Steelers, and I was the last member of our team that had a chance to win another ring when we were playing Steelers in the AFC Championship game at the Patriots. So it's just amazing what you were able to accomplish, you and your 97, 98 teammates. It's really back-to-back. That's a feat because of the health, because of the focus, because of the willingness.
Yeah, and then, you know, just keeping your team together, keeping guys together, especially, you know, guys wanting to go other places and make more money, and, you know, just so many obstacles to keeping a good football team together.
Yes. Egos, managing them.
All right. I want to ask about free agents. We got some free agents on the team. A.J. Bouye, Sam Martin, Jeff Driscoll, Nick Van Ed, Jarrell Casey, Melvin Gordon, Graham Glasgow. What can free agents who play for other teams, obviously, do to have the largest impact when they come to a new team? Like, what did you do when you went to a new team to make the impact? Did you stand up in front of the team and give a speech like, hey, this is how we do it. I won a Super Bowl. Listen to me.
You know, what I always did was I listened and observed first. You know, I'm not going to come in here and talk about things when I don't know the culture. I don't know who runs the show. Mm-hmm. You know, you never want to. It's like if you walk into a fast food restaurant and there's nobody behind the counter. You're just looking at the menu right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just waiting for my double cheeseburger that's $6.26 with a large Coke. You know. But when I figured out, okay, this is the schedule. These are, they called me the wanderer at the Texans because I didn't know where rooms were. Nobody was telling me, so I was trying to find rooms, open janitor's closets. I mean, you got to figure out where you're at. And then once you do find your place, you let them know. Mm-hmm. You know, I remember standing up after about 3 weeks at the Steelers, and they said, Ryan, you know, you're a vet. Why don't you introduce yourself? I stood up, said, I'm Ryan Harris. 10 years. I'm here to win a championship. Sat back down. That's it. And also, too, in practice, your thoughts about me are going to change. Now, whether or not you're respectful during that time or disrespectful, that's going to dictate how I'm going to disrespect and respect you. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I think happens too often is free agents come in, they find their place, and they stay quiet. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get that from me. Right. I'm going to be challenging the coaches on plays. Hey, I remember we're sitting here on the south field. We were doing a walkthrough during the year, and Rick Dennison, a man I love, you know, it was a big part of my career. We had this play past 18 man that left me on an island with 15-yard gaps on either side. So I turned to him and said, hey, Rico, what's our success rate on this play? He says, I'm like, 0. It's 0. Throw this out of the playbook. You know, I mean, you've got to take ownership of your role and the team you're on. And too often, I think free agents, they come in and they get on the team and they settle down, right? Hey, I'm going to play my role. But Glasgow is going to be a huge addition. You know, funny story about Nick Vanetta. I was covering the Seattle Seahawks, the Steelers-Bengals game last year on Monday Night Football for Westwood One. He came in the wrong door for the game. Like, he came in the media exit instead of the players' parking lot. Right. You know, so those are just the kind of things, an example of how hard it is as a free agent to literally find your way to the locker room.
Oh, man.
So, but once you figure that out, man, you got to play and you got to raise the bar. And that's one of the things that, and I was fortunate coming back here to Denver. I was drafted here. And I knew some of the guys and I knew some of the coaches from Houston. And I also, I had an offensive line. We didn't have somebody yet that was going to talk trash and throw fists. Yeah. You know what? We're going to win. We better have some guys like that. And if you don't know how to do it, watch me. Oh, yeah. Because we ain't going to let somebody talk all day, you know. So those are the kinds of things, and this is for everyone anywhere. When you find your place, own your role. Yeah. And do it, man. And that's a way to be successful.
I love it. Drew Lock in this offense. You like it?
I love it for a couple of reasons. One, this is his second offense in 2 years. That's tough for a quarterback. He's still able to manage. Now, they did have a 12-man procedural penalty yesterday, but those are the kinds of things that you and I know when young guys behind you and you're on the field, it's a little different, right? But he's commanded it, he's controlled it, and he's owned up to, you know, the mistakes he's made, but also owned up to his role to call guys out and to be successful. So, and John Elway's got him a lot of weapons now. You got the best tight ends since Super Bowl 50. You've got the best wide receivers duo since Super Bowl 50. I mean, you've got the best talent offensively in the last 5 years.
And we got great running backs, I think.
Great running backs. Not good, great running backs. So, and you couple that with Dalton Reisner, who's a talent, you know, and Glasgow getting in there. I mean, this is how you win in the NFL. And he's got the long ball, which you and I know. Not every successful quarterback has the long ball. And when you got Jerry Judy and Cortland Sutton and you can put it up there, you can do that. I also talked with one coach. He said they have not had a negative run all camp.
Really?
And that is as important to Drew Lock.
Wait.
Yeah. In team periods now.
So you're saying that they haven't been tackled behind the line of scrimmage?
They have not been tackled behind the line of scrimmage one time in the 9 days of training camp. Now, you want to talk about developing a quarterback. A run game is the number one way you do that. Yeah. You put Drew Lock in 3rd and 3 with Jerry Judy, Noah Fant, Cortland Sutton, and Phillip Lindsay in the slot. Yeah. That's a win. You put him in 3rd and 7 even. That's a win. You start putting him in 3rd and 15s. That's a lot different. Yeah. That's a lot different. So the run game is going to come along, And the fact that we just saw right there, he had a double cadence. He fooled the defensive lineman, and that allowed for a 5-yard penalty. Here it was 3rd and 8. Now it's 3rd and 3. I mean, those are the kinds of procedural things that Peyton Manning did, and Ben Roethlisberger did when I played with them. You've got to take every advantage and play the game within the game, and Drew's already doing that.
Yeah. Jake Butt there, the tight end out of Michigan. He's been injured, had a history of injuries.
Yep.
Fortunately, he's looking really solid this training camp.
Yes, I'm happy for him. I think he's the underdog of underdogs.
Yes.
Anytime your position has back-to-back draft picks, for 2 years, the writing's on the wall. And what I love is how honest he's been about how he's felt, saying, I've wanted to give up. There were times where I thought that's it, but I kept going. And for me, after my 3rd back surgery, I was out of the NFL for about 4 months. That was a tough time.
Yeah.
But believing in yourself, and then, I appreciated having my helmet in my locker room every day for practice. And when you got a guy like Jake Butt on your team, if you got a younger guy who's saying, hey, Steve, man, you sore? I'm sore today. Hey, you better go talk to Jake Butt over there. Go tell Jake Butt how sore you are. Right. Matter of fact, you better hurry up. He's about to go out to the practice field.
Wow.
Because he's taped up, ready to go. That's 3 ACLs in 3 years right there. Go
right.
Tell him how sore you are.
Yeah.
That player's not going to
I'm going out there.
You know what? I'm going to get a Gatorade. I'm going to be all right. And so having that example of perseverance and dedication and belief, that's invaluable. And I think combined with his play in training camp, I think Jake Butt's earned himself a place on the roster when he wasn't. I don't know if he was considered for a place on this roster to begin camp.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I did feel confident that, oh, boy.
Look at that long ball. Oh! Close.
That was Jeff Driscoll that threw that one.
So I do miss the fun, because even there, if you're on that team, hey, come on, Jeff. Come on, man. I saw you throw that ball 5 times. Come on, man. Just have fun. You got to have fun, especially in training camp. I would come in. We're camping. We're camping, guys.
That's what it is.
You got to find a way to be happy in misery. And that's what all training camp's about, because you and I know. 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, 6 minutes left. There's going to be some misery there.
Oh, yeah.
Can you be happy in it, and can you come out on top?
I remember we were playing the Steelers in the playoffs. I want to say it was 97 season. I'm running in on the blitz. I think it was the tackle there. Thought I was scot-free.
You thought you were free.
Bam!
Oh!
I just went flying. Landed on my rear end. I'm like, oh, man. Have you ever caught anybody like that?
Oh, yeah. I love it, too. But my thing is I'll catch you like that, and I'm coming for you again. You better get up. So.
You gonna finish him.
I'm spearing you. Finish him. Because I'm gonna let you know. In case you thought you slipped, I'm here to tell you did it. And it's funny because I was doing that, and when we played in the Super Bowl, Jared Allen, I got him on the ground a couple times, and I went to spear him, and he kind of did this reverse frog jump, so I was missing him. And I'm like, dang, this guy was watching film like that. But I had some great battles with Dante Hightower at the New England Patriots. I always love getting the small, because you're a different safety now. We wouldn't have called you a safety. We'd have called you the Rover. Hey, the Rover's coming in. That's different now.
Right,
but some of those D-backs try and blitz from the when you're on the short side of the field and jump away. I'd love that, man.
Now, what about you? Didn't pull much, did you?
Not too much, thank God.
I mean,
what
about on some screens and stuff?
So on screens, yeah. And Broncos fans might remember we won in overtime in the regular season the year we won the Super Bowl. Pulled around, and those moments you talk about when you're in the air. I pull around the corner. CJ's behind me. And I see Malcolm Butler, and he's coming across, and I'm thinking, just wait 1 second so we can get across. I'm going to hit him in the legs, and that lane's going to be open. And, this is all, and this is, everything's happening.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's Malcolm Butler who got the pick in the Super Bowl. And then, cut his legs out, and CJ runs and touchdown. And those are the moments you love and you remember, and just like you talked about getting knocked on your booty, you got up and you made a play after that.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And that's life, right? That's not just football, that's life.
Now, have you ever pulled around there and you got knocked on your rear end?
Man, I didn't get knocked, but I tried to hit Cam Chancellor once so hard. I was coming 10 yards away, and and he stood me up. I had to chip my feet. I had to chop my feet real quick so I didn't fall back. I had to grab some traction, and then he made the tackle, and it was like a 9-yard game. But I was like, Like, you know, some of those hits hit your breath, and okay, I didn't fall over. All right, here we go.
That was a close one.
But I had a couple linebackers. Ojamuya got me once, and he hit me so quick. You know, my foot I was running out, and then he kind of changed course. So I tried to push back, and right when I pushed back, he hit me. So my foot collapsed underneath me. It just looked bad, man. It just looked bad. You know, but it's that's a part of the game. You know, Vince Lombardi says that. You are going to get knocked down. It's what you do when you get up that makes the difference. And that's what all these guys are learning here right now in training camp. That's what all of us know about in life. And that's why it's so fun to watch this game, because we see it every day in a game.
Absolutely. Hey, Ryan. Yes. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
You can, where can people find you at?
Yeah, check me out, RyanHarris68.com. You know, I do a lot of corporate speaking, so if you want somebody to come and give some motivation and stories to your team, you know, I'm your guy. And
are you doing it now during the COVID?
Yeah, we're doing Zoom meetings and things like that. I mentioned an event with American Family coming up for parents. You can catch me weekdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'm going to jump off this show and jump onto my radio show, and we talk sports here in Denver, and then catch me on the Notre Dame football broadcast. So I'm on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I'm a big fan of Broncos fans, the best fans in the country. I played for the Chiefs, I played for the Steelers. Those are great fan bases too, but nothing's like Broncos country. The support, you know, we lost Bronco Betty. You know, that's everybody knows Bronco Betty, but there's nothing like being at Mile High, hearing the thunderous stampede of those fans. And I will never forget winning the AFC Championship 2015. And I swear I don't think a fan left that building. I mean, for 30 minutes, fans were celebrating with us. And I love you, Broncos country. You made it extra special to be a Bronco.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Continued success. We're going to toss it over to Matt Boyer. Matt, take it away, my friend.
Steve, thank you very much. I could listen to Ryan Harris talk about taking out Patriot cornerbacks all day long. I'm sure the rest of Broncos country could as well. If you missed anything from today's practice, be sure to check out DenverBroncos.com and our Denver Broncos social channels for the latest. After practice today, head coach Vic Fangio, Jerry Judy, and Bryce Callahan are tentatively scheduled to meet the media. So make sure to check out our social channels and DenverBroncos.com for those press conferences. Also, make sure to check out training camp tonight, 6:30 p.m. Alexis Perry will be recapping all of today's action. Plus, the Broncos Country Tonight guys will have on Noah Fant. So again, 6:30 p.m. on Channel 20 or 7 p.m. on YouTube. And don't forget about the Thrilogy. We've already gotten through the divisional game. Now we're on to the Patriots, the AFC Championship, when Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware made Tom Brady's life miserable on that fateful Sunday in Mile High. So August the 30th, Sunday, the 2015 championship. You can find that on Channel 20 locally here in Denver. Also, we're going to be on in Colorado Springs and Grand Junction. Check your local listings for that. We're also going to be simulcasted on KOA. So if you want to get it in your earbuds, you've got it there too as well. And tomorrow's show, Tuesday, August the 25th at 9:15 a.m., Steve Atwater will be joined by Brandon Stokely. We've got a lot of guys from those 2010 years coming on the show, and Stokely, I'm sure, has plenty of great stories from those years, plus a couple of Peyton Manning stories, I'm sure. So make sure to check out tomorrow, 9:15 a.m. Now, the practice times can switch, so make sure to check out DenverBroncos.com or the Denver Broncos social channels for the latest updated times. But Stokely will be down there on 27 Hall of Fame Plaza tomorrow. That'll do it for us today on Broncos Training Camp Live, powered by Ford. Special thanks to Sidney Jones, Phil Milani, Steve Atwater, and Super Bowl 50 champ Ryan Harris. I'm Matt Boyer. Thank you so much for watching Broncos Country. We will see you again tomorrow.
Training Camp Live, powered by Ford, has been brought to you by All Copy, Empower Retirement, King Supers, and FanDuel.